So, you've been taking photos professionally or as a hobby for a while. You probably understand all the technical stuff. That is composition, lighting, focus, and all those other technical stuff that photographers talk about. But how do you get your images to stand out? To tell a story? To make someone to pose for a few seconds and view them in a sea of billions of images? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. But before that, so as a lifestyle, sports, and documentary photographer, my life involves telling stories through photography. And what better way to tell stories than through images? Because you know what? An image is worth more than 1,000 words. So walk with me. I'm going to be sharing with you 10 tips. This 10? Yeah, I'll be sharing with you 10 tips on how to tell a story through photography. So, number 1, the magic's in the details. So assume you've been from a long trip and you've just met a young boy and you want to explain to them how the trip was. You definitely tell them lots of catchy details about it, right? The same case with photography. When you see a scene, visualize it in your eyes and assume and prepare what you want your viewers to see. Then as you capture it, you need to pull them deep inside the images so that they can see the details. And I'll give you a very good example. The image you see here is an image that I took in 2018 somewhere in Machakos. Machakos is a town in Kenya. And it was very early in the morning, around 6:20 a.m. and this guy was preparing some very sweet mandazis along the streets. So he's a street chef, as you can see. So what really attracted me to the scene is the details in the images. If you can see right from the clothes that he's wearing, the table he's using, the old cafe behind him, the bulb that's there, and the sun just hitting his skin until you can see him sweating. That's what caught my attention. So whatever scene you're trying to capture, try and capture as much details as possible. Number 2, plan ahead or fail. It's as simple as that. Someone once said that if you don't plan, or failing to plan is planning to fail. So yeah, especially for documentary photographers, do something you call a pre-visit. Go see the scene, learn how it is, do your research. If you're going to a new place, is it a muddy place, is it a rainy place, is it a hot place? You need to have those in mind, especially now when it comes to lighting and everything. As a photographer, you need to plan whatever you're doing, because once you go to a scene and you're prepared, you'll have everything that you need. So the image you can see here is an image that I took at around 6:30 in the morning in Kisumu, Dunga Beach. For those who know, Dunga Beach in Kenya is in the lakeside. So we had gone there to shoot for Red Bull. I was with my friend Greg. Greg is a very good videographer. So we arrived in Kisumu on Thursday, but we were planning to shoot the event on Saturday. So we had the whole of Friday to spend there. On arrival, the first thing that we did, because we wanted to capture the feel of the community in the lake region, and definitely they're all known for fishing. So we inquired from some of the boda guys, and they told us the best time that the fishermen come back is around from 5:30 a.m. to around 6:20 a.m. We were there, I think we left the hotel room before 4 a.m. and we were there by around 4:30 a.m. and I waited for this scene for 2 good hours until now, when there was this big frenzy of fishermen selling to fishermongers, and you have people carrying the fish. We have some fishermen who are still returning, As you can see, the scene is just beautiful. But if I hadn't planned to be there in good time or ahead, or at least to inquire from the people around, I wouldn't have known, and I wouldn't have had this image. Number 3, be original. Don't copy, don't chase images. See, the problem that we have with our current generation, a lot of information is just there for us to go and pick and see, and copy, emulate, and everything. There are lots of apps that can help you with inspiration. Instagram is full of images. You have Pinterest. You can Google an image that you want for inspiration. But now the problem is, some of us, when they see an image and we are wowed by it, instead of now being inspired to create our own, we start chasing that image. So by chasing, I mean now you want to try and take an image exactly how a certain photographer took. And now that kills originality. And you see, even if you take that photo in the best way possible, still it's not your image. So the first person to be credited for it is the person who had the original image. So my advice, create your own image. Like this image that you see here. This is an image of Mount Kilimanjaro. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Loitoktok. It's a village next to Amboseli National Park. And we have tourists and photographers and film guys coming there almost every year. And I think one of the most striking images is the view of Mount Kilimanjaro. But I wanted to capture the same image, but in a way that no one else had captured it, because I wanted some originality in my image. So what did I do? I did multiple exposure, where I combined a few different, 3 images actually, into one of Mount Kilimanjaro taken from different angles, illustrated the town that you can see the people walking, and also an image of the clouds. And then I combined them into one image, and it created an image that has never been there before. So yeah, that's it. Originality. Be creative. Our minds are so creative. We are told that we only use around 8% of our mind. So whichever thing you use for your energy, just blow your mind and be creative. Yeah. Number 4, capture emotions. Simple as that. Capture emotions. Basically, the main reason why we take images is so that we can basically tell a story through the image. And emotions, when it comes to anything that's living, animals, human beings, birds, fish, anything that's alive, emotions matter a lot. So even if you can capture emotions, they tell a lot of stories. Because if you see my face is sad, you can definitely tell that it was a sad scene. If I was happy, that's it. So as a photographer, mostly when you are in events, try and capture emotions. As a sports photographer, I kind of enjoy that, because in sports we have moments of jubilations and moments of sorrow, basically defeat and winning. And a good example that I can share with you is this image here, an image that I took during the finals of the Neymar Junior 5-a-side. It's a Red Bull sponsored event. As you can see in this image, we have one person who's super sad and angry because they've just lost, and he feels like the referee was against their team. And then on the other side, you can see a team of fans and players celebrating. They have just won their ticket to go to Brazil for the World Cup. So basically, if you just look at this image, you can tell who won and who lost. The same case, wherever you are trying to capture an emotion, if it's a scene where, let's say it's on a wedding, and you want to capture this scene of the groom looking at the bride as she walks down the aisle, that image should be striking. When someone looks at it, they should be excited. Yeah, as you can see in this image here. Number 5, never forget about lighting and composition. These two are basically the most important parts of photography. I think they're the pillars of photography. And a good example, let's try and shoot this without lights. So lights out, lights on. You see the difference? That's it. The second thing is composition. Composition is basically what you want to put on the frame and where you want to put it. So These two are very important, and most of us forget it when you go to the field because you're there, you point and shoot, you are rushing, you've got no idea what next is going to happen, and you end up forgetting about these two things, and the other the pillars. So what I can tell you is chase the light, wherever it is, chase it, look for lights. If you see that you can't compose your image, either because you're far from the subject or because someone is in front of you, move, or look for a long lens. Whichever way you can, just make sure that your composition is right and your lighting is right, and that will help you. I'll give you a good example. The image that you see right here is an image of Jidena performing in the formal party. I think it was in the year 2017, and during this image, Jidena was performing very close to the fans, and they were all raising their hands. You might think they were worshipping him. And also, since he was trying to bend to get closer to them, the mic also looked like a throne, and I just wanted to capture that scene, and this is what I got. And as you can see, he looks like he's a god, he's bigger than everyone else. The mic is just there standing, so you can definitely tell that it's a performance happening on stage, and you have fans holding their phones and everything. So yeah, there's still storytelling, and yet the composition and lighting is right, because I had to time until the right time when the floodlights were on his back and he was just glowing. That's it.